Now we are going through number 17. Let's see what number 17 is. It's bearing, which is section 1 of our trig. Now let's see what it is. So bearing, sometimes you have to calculate, sometimes you measure with your protractor. So which is that thing that looks like this from your math set. So anyway, let's see what it is. Here they are giving us this diagram, blah, blah, blah. Let's see what they want. Part A says, find the bearing of B from C. This is an interesting one. We want the bearing of B from C. So what you do when you're doing bearing, the moment you see the word from, you go to that point and you put a note. Because here are the 3 rules of bearing. It's called 3-figure bearing. Bearing should always, number 1, be in 3 figures. In other words, if you get an answer, say 7, you do say 007. If you get 95, it's 095. Because it should always be 3-figure bearing and it will be in degrees. So it should be in 3 figures. And what is the other part? The other part is bearing should be in 3 figures, and we say bearing should be measured from the north. So it's measured from north. And then the other thing is going to be bearing should be measured clockwise. Bearing should be measured clockwise. So these are 3 simple rules that you must always follow. It is 3 figures, it is measured from the north, and it is measured clockwise. So you go where they say from. Here they are saying from C. And you go and put a north at C, a straight line that goes up. This is going to be your north at C. And then you're going to join the 2 points which they said, B from C. So you're going to join, you draw a line which joins B and C. In this case, it was already there. Then now what you're going to do, you should know that the bearing is going to be this one. This is the answer they are looking for. So now you're going to see, should I measure? If you're measuring, that means you're going to look in the question and not see anything that will help you find it. So I want you to know that when we are doing bearing calculations, we normally use something which we learned in geometry. In geometry, we learned about parallel lines. And in parallel lines, we saw that there are 3 properties that come when you have parallel lines. And I'm just going to show you one. And here is the one. It says if I have 2 parallel lines, I can put them anywhere I want. Parallel lines, 2 lines that never meet. If I come and cross them with a line like this, I can have what we call co-interior angles. It means this angle A and this angle B. And what you must know about this angle A and B is that A plus B is equal to 180 degrees. You should always know that the 2 co-interior angles are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. So now let's see if we're going to have some. This is usually what we use when we are doing a calculation in bearing. This is usually what we use. So now let's see if we have anything like that. Because the north and the north are parallel. And you have something which is joining. And these are inside angles. So if I know this, I know it will add with this to give me 180. Now you look for anything that you're given. If not, then you're going to have to measure with your protractor. So let's see if I have anything which I'm given. And here I can see the blah bearing. I'm not going to read that first line. The bearing of C from A is 145. Bearing of C from A, so this bearing, when you're coming from A, this is 145 degrees, okay? Because it is, you put a north at A, then you draw a thing, it's 145, which is the line where you meet C. So that means here, this is 145 degrees. Now they want the bearing of B from C. They want this bearing, which I'll call X. But first, you can get this inside one called Y. Now, when you get that, you know that Y plus 145 will give you 180. Y plus 145 degrees is equal to 180. So you can say Y is equal to 180 degrees minus 145 degrees. Let's punch. Okay, so I'm going to say 180 minus 145. I'll get Y be equal to 35 degrees. Now, is that the solution? No, it's not. What are you going to now do? You want this bearing in X. What do you know? You know that X plus Y plus 38 degrees is equal to whatever. Okay? Now what is going to happen is you're going to say, okay, what are we going to do? We say X is equal to now, okay, negative Y minus 38 degrees. Okay? Now what are we going to do now? Here, what are we going to do? We are going to put in the value of Y. What did we get for Y? Y was 35. Okay, we know that Y is 35. This, you should say they should give us 360. I'm sorry. If you add, they'll give us 360 because it's a complete revolution. If I add x and I add y and I add 38, this should give us 360. So that means you can say x is equal to 360 degrees. Then you say minus 38 degrees minus y. Okay, x will be equal to 360 degrees minus 38 degrees. Then minus, what is the y? 35 degrees. So I'll say 360 minus 38 minus 35. I'll get 287. So x is equal to 287. So here, what do we have? 287. There we go. This is going to be the bearing. 287 degrees, which is realistic because x is a very huge curve. This is 287, and that is what happens. And you'll be done with part A. This is how you get the bearing. Okay, we calculated just by using the co-interior angles that they add up to 180. We got an answer of y35. Then we saw that they add up to give you an answer here. So anyway, this is what happens, and this is what you'll be having, and this is good to hear. Now we're going to part B, and goodbye for now. I'm going to start it in the next video.